Okay, are you getting ready for Halloween? You're going to wear a mask or are you going to go as yourself? I was going to grow a beard and go as an armpit. Yeah. Everybody gets costumed for Halloween. I think this year it's going to be a little bit different. We have that recession coming. I have been doing all of my shopping at the dollar store, and I have been cheating myself a little bit on costumes. But I've been so many different things that when I show up, nobody cares anyway. They say, "Oh, who's that?" or "That," or "Him again." It's not worth it anymore. That's for kids. When we were kids, we used to go trick or treating, and we would go to a house that didn't have any candy, and we'd get mad at the people, and we would toilet paper it. They don't do that anymore. We used to put a potato and coal in a sock and hit someone over the head with it. They don't do that anymore. Someone put razor blades in apples. That started all that thing. So now when you go trick-or-treating, you have to have an armed guard with you. You have to have some protection. And I don't think kids are not encouraged to go door to door anymore to beg for food. But we're going to have to get used to that, I think, the way this is going. Or not candy. We're going to, hey, I'd like to borrow a cup of gin, Or can you give me a leg of lamb, please? Put that in my little pouch. This is an important day, the day that Harvey Weinstein gets tried from the Hollywood crimes that he has allegedly committed when he was sexually acting out with everybody. He got up to shave this morning, and he had pubic hairs growing there. It's just that, that's guilt. Your face will always show your guilt. Look at, how guilty I am, guilty of getting older. But I'm conscious of it, and I mention it all the time because I think we are not paying attention to age. One of the things is in Denver, Colorado, they now have a prison that has a radio station so that the prisoners have something to do. I mentioned it before, and now, again, I figured out the call letters, which is K-A-G-E, Cage. You're listening to The Cage. But actually, it's age, K-Age. Because you age. It's like being in jail when you age. I'm not aging, I'm molting is what I'm doing. Yeah, you start to lean forward, you grunt when you sit down, you go, oh. You make noises, all kinds of noises coming from all different places that you never used before. Or if you use them, they were for different reasons. And there's no medication that's going to cure old age. Only here in Florida where we have the old and the new. The new are not newborn babies, but the people who come from overseas who decide they're going to build a community. And we had that in 1960 when I was just a kid. I was on Whammy in Miami, and I worked with people like Howard Cosell and Larry King and those guys. And the Cubans came. In 1960, they came on the boat, and they came to where our station was, Whammy in Miami. We were on Biscayne Bay Boulevard, right with the statue of Christopher Columbus, which they don't want to have anymore because he was cruel to the crew members. I mean, I guess no one ever saw Captain Craig. No, was it Quig? The mutiny on the Bounty? I mean, accusing Christopher Columbus of being mean-spirited with his crew and chaining them and punishing them. Everybody did that. Except the pirates, They just shoot somebody if they didn't like it. So we're in a time when Italians are taking the heat. Plus, we had a guy who actually did invent America, Americus Vespucci. That was his name. He was here first. But Columbus landed in the Dominican Republic. He didn't know Haiti from a hole in the ground. But he got there, and he was the guy who was thinking he landed in America, the newfound land, but it wasn't. It was just Haiti and the Dominican Republic. That's that island. Well, we had the Columbus Day Parade. The only parade that goes up Fifth Avenue in New York, not down Fifth Avenue, because Italians always go against the grain. We went up instead of down. Why wouldn't we be different? Of course we're different. Even this Mascarpone, what's his name, the Italian comedian, the guy with that really hard to pronounce name, but he's funny. He's going to do a pediatric show now with the doctor. They're going to do a show every week on television, a podcast. It's an invitation for people to learn how to do parenting with a sense of humor. It's a good idea. We need to do life with a sense of humor, like I do, I mean, to me, I remember I worked with Muhammad Ali's daughter, Cassius Clay's daughter. Well, he had a couple of them. Layla was the fighter, but the other one was May May. And she wrote a book called Life is a Test. And she used to say that, life is a test. And I said, yeah, and I got a screen test too. You know, there you go. There it is. It's my bad joke. But you know, we have a world of differences, and I think now that Russia has destroyed the Ukraine pretty much, they have to rebuild it with Legos. That's so that, you know, when it falls apart, nobody's going to really miss anything. Except, you know, there's no sense of humor in the way this villain has done everything that he could possibly do to make the world miserable and expensive. And then one guy caused all of this. So, you know, back years ago, no one believed that Jesus could do so much as one person. And yet, look at what's happened with one person being evil. Look at this guy. And you know, he's complaining about his bridge blowing up, and meanwhile he blew up half of the country, of the Ukraine. And we're going to sit here and feel sorry for him with his bridge. What they need to do is take it and put a toll on it. The toll is for everyone who is not Ukrainian. You're not going to be here too long. That's the toll. No, put a booth up there. That'll keep people from coming across. That always happens, you know. Of course, except in Jersey, which is the, I think they manufacture toll booths in Jersey. They put them up overnight when you're not looking and charge you for it and say they're fixing the road. What road are you fixing? The road to taxation, that's the road. Is the screen still there? Yeah, screen my calls. Yeah, so what else have we got today? We don't have too much going on. The chocolate company Lindt, you know, very famous, wonderful chocolates. They created a chocolate bunny. They did this at Easter time, and another company imitated them, made all these thousands of bunnies, and the court ruled that they had to destroy the bunnies. So they had a chocolate meltdown and got rid of all the bunnies that were competing with Lindt. So see, the bunny, there was a copyright on the design of the bunny. It's the money and the bunny. So they lost the case. These are the quirky things that happen in the news. We'd rather concentrate on that than all of the terrorism that we are subjected to with the police calls. And if you watch the news in New York, you would think that you should never leave the house because of the subways, and that these are not new. They're just being presented on television because TV overextended itself. You know, there's too many stations, too much time dedicated to news, and they don't have enough content, so they have to do everything they can. They're digging out everything they can to put it on the air. We used to bring news down to about 15 minutes when television first started with John Cameron Swayze. Today's news today, 15 minutes long. And then it got to be a half hour, an hour, the McNair-Lair report on PBS, then it got to be a news format, then it's all day and all night, it's 24/7, it's Fair and Balanced, it's Fox, it's CNN, and now you got all these channels doing all these newscasts all the time, you know. And how much news are you going to have? NEWS, Northeast, West, and South. That's what it spells. And that's what it means. You know, the news, the information from Northeast, West, and South. That's what news means. You didn't know that. How would you know it? They're so busy selling pharmaceuticals. You're so stoned on all the medications that you can't think anymore anyway, which is the other thing. How many of these medications am I supposed to take? You know, what do you want me to do? You want me to... I know you want me to do. You want me to have the Medicare Plan D, the Medicare Plan A and B, and then they have the supplement, and it includes dentistry. It includes the Silver Slipper, which means you go to the gym, and you get you get that paid for. And the only thing they don't like to pay for is, for some reason, is dentistry. But I don't have a problem with my teeth because I've used my mouth so recklessly. I don't have any left. I'm losing my eyesight now because for some reason, most people in radio and television lose their hearing, you know, from the brush headsets we wear, and kids are doing that too. But now I'm losing I can't see things because of texting, you know, and on a phone, everything is much smaller than it was. I need the scoreboard over at Yankee Stadium to read things anymore. But this is it. This is over easy. It's on the way out. And my good friend Art LeBeau, who was the inventor of Oldies But Goodies, the name, he bought a building from Les Paul, who invented the electric guitar, in case you don't know who he is. Years ago, he bought this building on Sunset and La Brea in Los Angeles and created this empire. And he came out with a Latin type of radio show where he actually played records, commercial hit records by Latins, one of which was Angel Baby by Rosie and the Originals, if you ever heard of that one. And it was dreadful. She had the talent of a flea, but it was help the community. Oh man. Still can't stand that song. And Teen Angel by Mark Denning, well, that's nothing to do with Latins. But we didn't get Latin help until Gloria Estefan came along, the Miami connection here. So that's it. That's our little report today. I may have forgotten something that I was going to mention, but you know, I just I'm not seeing that well. Come into this with my eyes wide open. Maybe I'll start wearing glasses. Binoculars would be more like it. It's a Reynolds wrap.